go. Tomás, Schramme, Kristen Schramme, thank you for being here. Team Kristen Schramme, the premier real estate team in San Antonio. Really, I'm like just grateful. I'm actually kind of nervous to be here, to be honest with you, because I've done this a few times already, but we've never really had a chance to like talk. You know, we kind of see each other at job sites or houses or via text or whatnot, but I'm just kind of, I'm excited. I'm interested in knowing you guys' origin story and just the nature of the industry as a whole right now, kind of what separates you from everyone else. And I did see that y'all did the DISC personality test yesterday with your team.
Yep.
Was that yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday.
Yes.
I've never done that. How was that experiment?
Well, so we've used the DISC for a long time. Since day one, we used the DISC. And it used to be free, and then over time it's gotten more expensive for us to download the full results. But we know how important it is to understand our clients and each other as team members, know how we communicate. And so we brought a friend in that we have in our network, and that's what he does. He teaches on the DISC profiles. It was great. He went into detail about every characteristic of every personality, and just seeing the team members really light up about that's why I do this.
Everybody did it? Yeah. Did y'all do it too?
Yes, we all did it.
Are y'all like polar opposites?
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting? Because like the husband-wife dynamic for me is, it's interesting because my wife and I own our business together, but her and I opposite ends of the spectrum, and it almost the yin yang to it, right?
I think it helps.
It feels like you have to. I know a few friends that are like identical personalities, and you can see where they butt heads a lot, right? Which not to say you don't butt heads with your spouses anyway, but when you in business, it's interesting to kind of know the personality that at the end of the day is going to dictate what your role is in the business specifically. And a lot of times people don't see the importance of that, especially business owners, because if you have agents, you got a big team like you guys have, you need to have the right people in the right seat of the bus. So obviously there's a big benefit from it. So have you ever heard of the 5 Voices, which is a different type of personality test?
Not that one, but there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah. So I just took that one. So I've never done the DISC, but what's the main, is it the 4 acronyms for that? The DISC stands for?
Well, it's the DISC.
Right.
And so your D is dominance.
There you go.
Your I is what I like to say is, interactive, interpersonal. Your S is slow and steady. And your C is your compliance, or I like to really phrase C's as that attention to detail type of person.
Kind of like the researcher or the analytical person.
So what, if you don't mind sharing, where did y'all land on those?
Well, mine, I've had a couple different results lately, but so I would say ISC is what mine is, and then his is DC. So, I think 2 Ds would probably have a hard time, I think, being married to each other.
So you basically, I've always kind of found it interesting because I've only taken one, which I did recently, that 5 Voices. But if you take it several times, is it going to give you the same result every time? It's like that's what I kind of like was wondering.
That's the odd thing. I've taken it several times. This time I just retook it because we didn't have the file, but I remembered what it was before. So I do wonder if maybe as we grow and maybe we take on different roles, that maybe it changes a little bit. Yeah. But I don't think it dramatically changes. Sure.
I think, but you're right, because I think if you were to take it like 5 years ago and your responsibilities grow, what's interesting though, it is kind of almost like dead on to your personality, right? Like, and because I did the 5 Voices one, and that one is it basically connector, creator, nurturer, provider, and I think guidance or something like that. Okay. So I did mine, and mine was a nurturer connector, where the nurturer is like a champion of people, connectors, champion of relationships. Like, well, that's actually pretty dead on, And the P, the pioneer, I think is like, those are like results driven people, kind of more, maybe more like the D, the dominance. But I was like, okay, well, I was kind of skeptical with some of these, and it's the first time I've ever done it, because it's like a lot of like, do you agree, strongly agree, maybe not. I was like, I don't know, I agree.
I know.
And my wife was helping me do it. She's like answering the questions for me, and I'm like, okay, you can't help me here, but at the end of the day, when they gave me that result, I was like, okay, I guess it does make sense, and it's good to know that info, especially if you're trying to guide other people and lead a big team, and which is really impressive for you guys. I don't know how you handle it, because you guys probably have one of the largest teams in San Antonio, I'm guessing.
One of the larger, but there's There's other pretty large.
Yeah, we have about 22 team members.
But that's not common though, right?
I mean, it's definitely more on the larger side, but the teams that we typically get grouped in with are going to be teams of 50 and 60 team members and more.
Wow.
So we're actually smaller when you break it down to like a large team. If we're in that category, we're the smallest. But if you just group it like into medium size or small teams, we would be the largest.
We're the largest, yeah.
Well, so tell me how you actually, developed into this big team. How long have you been doing real estate?
Well, I started in 2007 as an individual agent, and then we started the team in 2014. And so really we grew as our business, like as our client base grew, because we've always wanted to make sure that we keep that personal touch. Right. We don't ever want to get so big that, maybe, for example, I meet with a client that wants to sell their home and then I would just pass them to someone back at the office. So we always wanted to add on agents as our business grew, as our clients grew.
Give them that personal attention.
So they have the personal attention. They never feel like a number. Another side of it too is with our agents, and I've experienced this firsthand, is, you can only take on so much and do it well. And also you want to have some kind of, there's not perfect balance, but you want to have some kind of, time for yourself, your family. So that's the other reason we brought agents on, because agents will get, and other team members too will get burned out.
That's the hard part too, as you grow, is being able to delegate to and trusting, and
that's
I guess that's
true.
where the personality tests come in. Is like, hey, who can I trust? And but recruiting has been a challenge. Has it been because I think there's a big pool of realtors, especially now. Well, there was more, I guess, during COVID. Everyone was a realtor then, but growing that team, has it been hard to recruit the right people? Is that something you do, or is that your specialty?
It is. It is. I mean, she's the face of the business, so people expect to like maybe hear from her or see her at some point in the process. And she actually attends the final interview.
Gotcha.
Our interview process is 5 rounds, and it's a process that we've learned through Keller Williams, who we're with, and they've really taught us a lot over the years. It's funny because we've got a great reputation, and so I'm even in a mastermind that's just about recruiting. We meet every week with agents all over the nation, and we talk about what's working, what's not working, and just really bounce ideas off each other, because we're all wanting to grow our businesses and make sure we have the right people. And so our interview process is drawn out. We even do another personality assessment outside of the DISC that's catered more just for real estate through Keller Williams. And that really helps really figure out, what they are. But, everyone can put a face on for that 5 rounds.
Sure.
When you actually see them in action on your team and they start settling in and becoming themselves, relaxing, then you really get to see their real personality. And so every now and again, you'll get someone's like, man, I just don't know. I thought this was golden, and it just seems like they're just kind of pushing back a little bit more.
Right.
They're not aggressive enough on starting their, making sure they're doing what's necessary for their business to grow.
Right.
But as I was heading over here right now, we were shooting a recruiting video in our kitchen, and as I'm walking through the kitchen, I'm just laughing because we just seen so many different agents apply lately, and team members as well. I walked out of the building and I said, we need to stop recruiting. It's just so much, it's just like, and some teams would love those opportunities. Like, I can't get someone to apply. We get people applying every day. And so it's just a matter of sifting through those and finding the right talent. And
you guys have built a good culture, though, I think, and your marketing for sure has been good. And your We Are Schramme, I think you built the family type culture, and I love the Schramme part. That's awesome. But which is, someone was telling me too, is like you need to have a business that people want to go to, work for, and be there for, right? And if you don't have that, then it's like, well, you're not going to be able to attract talent or the right people. So obviously, you've been able to do that, not without its challenges, I'm sure. But
I would say because you can attract the right people, but then to your point, if the culture isn't there, then you're not going to keep them. You're going to have that turnover. And we've learned a lot over the years on that for sure. As far as just, I remember like the first couple assistants I hired, I hadn't gone through the training, and I just would, talk to them for 30 minutes or an hour. And if we had a great conversation, I would hire them.
You found something you liked. You're
exactly.
like, okay.
Oh, I like her. we're both moms. And I like what and we go to this church. And let's work together. So you definitely
learn. It's a little more complicated than that.
It's a lot more complicated. And then, of course, growing it, and then just really making time, like even with when I think about the culture too, the team, there's so much that goes into that. You know, there's so many things that we do together as a team, because, you know, one of my favorite books, Fierce Conversations, the conversation is a relationship. So that's one of the things that I've learned too over the years, just being, you know, very busy as a realtor and as a mom, and as a wife, and just everything that, you know, I have to slow down, you know, and I love the team. It's not that I don't, but I can get in that kind of stuck in that. I'm doing all these things, you know, and that's over here.
Right. So it's that balance, like you said. It's
that balance, and
hard.
scheduling, learning how to really schedule it out. So that way for me, that gives me more peace, knowing, okay, I have, these things are all getting done. So now I can make sure to, you know,
you have to, because if you don't manage that time,
delegate a lot, like you said, to
trusting.
others.
Did you was your family in real estate, or how did you get into that?
No, my family was not in real estate. You know, how did I get in real estate? Well, I guess a good friend of mine, from one of my best friends, she's actually a realtor too. We both started in 2007. We both were in sales. We went to UT Austin together, and we were in sales here in San Antonio. And we each had a family member that was in mother-in-law at the time in real estate, her mom and my mother-in-law. And we were seeing the industry, and it was back in 2007. So the market was just going crazy in 04, 05, 06. So we decided, you know what, we're going to do real estate, because at the time we thought, you know, we were married, and we thought, oh, we'll work part-time, you know, and then when we start having kids, it's going to be or we can work full-time now, but when we start having kids in a couple of years, you know, it'll be perfect. We can work real estate part-time. Of course, you know, then we learned pretty fast, like you can't really do it part-time. So,
well, then 08, 09 was kind of a rough season, right? So that if you're just getting into it in 07.
I was new in 07. So I look back and I think it was a blessing for me, because I didn't know that crazy busy market. So when I was starting, and I remember being at the legacy office, you know, I would hear seasoned agents who I looked up to saying how awful the market was, you know, saying, oh, this, like, I'm going to have to get out of this business. It's so terrible. Nothing's selling. Nobody's buying. And I just, you know, kind of put blinders on, and I was in different classes with Keller Williams too, that I think helped me a lot and stay just more positive. And I just did my open houses. I mailed my notes, you know, I did the networking stuff with moms, because I was in, I wasn't a mom yet, I guess. Was I a mom? 2009. So I started doing networking with mom stuff. But yeah, I didn't know any better. I just knew, okay,
that's better, right?
Keller Williams told me to do all these things, you know, consistently.
Well, it's like when
I just did them.
It's like when you don't know the fear or the what's
or how
scaring.
easy it was. That's the thing.
Sure.
They said it was so easy.
Yeah.
You know?
But when people start kind of telling you, like, oh, because I've had family members that in any endeavor I've ever tried to do, that's like, no, you shouldn't do it. It's going to be too hard, or don't do that.
My parents did say that, actually, about real estate.
I'm not going to listen to. You know, it's like, but because a lot of, like, obviously the people that give you the bad advice are people that, you know, like the divorced people that tell you about marriage, like, okay, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to listen to your advice, you know, people that have been in field business and whatever. I mean, but I think you almost are better not knowing, you know, and just kind of finding out on your own sometimes, you know, because a lot of times fear is what holds everybody back, you know, and if you're in any industry, any business, you know, people that want to get into business don't do it because they're scared, you know, they don't want to take that chance. And I've always said this, but I've always been the type to just dive in, figure it out, you know, swim and, you know, do it. And some people are just wired differently, but, you know, I think there's a benefit to that, right? So as you transition from being by yourself to a team in 2014, did you get to that point where you just started growing, where obviously you needed more help? So when did you come into the picture with the marketing? Because I know that was like a big thing for your overall brand.
Yeah, so I started a marketing company in 2010, and you know, when Kristen and I reconnected, you know, I just knew she was a realtor. You know, I wasn't in the real estate field. My background was more like automotive, and so when I'm, you know, looking at, okay, how are we going to, you know, how can I help her out with her marketing? I'm looking at, okay, she's just a little realtor selling some homes. And, you know, I guess it's just, you know, I didn't know anything about the business, like how you generate, you know, your business from it. But once she starts explaining it to me, I start realizing, like, okay, this could be a big thing, you know, but what we're missing is the branding behind it. And the brand is huge when it comes to real estate, especially when you're on your own as an individual. You really have to brand yourself. And so, you know, she had a basic business card or a basic free website. And I'm looking, I'm like, yeah, this doesn't look like it really resonates like with the audience well. And so I said, let's redo it. Let's change it all up. So, once we started working on the marketing, it started working fairly quickly because the audience she had was, very close with her, all of her past clients. And so they would see it and notice a change, like, oh gosh, now she's all of a sudden more professional looking, right, with the brand. Mm-hmm. And so, naturally, the market was improving as well. And she already had a big business as it was. And so it just kept kind of just growing and growing. And then in 2014, that's when we're like, let's build this out. Let's add another agent, to start helping you, taking more off your plate so you can focus more on this side of the business. And it just kind of grew from there. Every year we'd add an additional agent and eventually some additional admin. And it just continued to grow.
So you had a marketing background basically through at school, or did you go to school for that? Or?
No, I mean, I was a musician in high school, and so I had a band.
Where did y'all meet? Did y'all meet in the industry, or?
No, we actually met. So we're both from Brenham, Texas. Okay. Well known for Bluebell ice cream, and so we actually were high school sweethearts.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then but then we ended up separating. A year older.
Okay.
Our youngest, always every Christmas she loves to say, "Okay, we're going to start out with the oldest," and she looks over at me, and anytime she can point out I'm the oldest. But so we met, and then we both ended up. We broke up whenever I went to college, and then we ended up getting back together after. But we had both, married, other people, and we went through divorces. We each had 2 kids. And,
okay.
Yeah. So then we reconnected back. I guess it was in 2013.
Wow. Yeah. And how did that come about? Did you all just see each other at the library or something?
No.
Or was it on social media? Was it Facebook back then, 2013? I guess it was.
Facebook. Right? I think I messaged you on Facebook.
No, I think I just told you happy birthday.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we were friends on Facebook.
On Facebook.
And so I saw it was our birthday, and I just hit it up and said, "Hey, happy birthday!" That's all it was.
That's awesome.
And then she was going through a divorce, I think, at the time, or had been divorced or something like that, and so I had already gone through my divorce and had been on my own for a little while with my kids, and we just kind of reconnected on social media. And went out on a first date and just reignited right from the second we sat down together that restaurant. So
that's awesome. Yeah. That's a blessing, I guess, now, especially if you guys are, building this brand and this company and, your family now too.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And so just like basically once you reconnected, you got into the business, kind of helped build the brand. And you already had several years of credibility and experience under your belt, obviously.
Yeah, I was the number 1 agent that year at Legacies. I was the number 1 individual agent. But like he said, I wasn't. I remember when he started doing the marketing, started our Facebook page. Like you said, a lot of my friends, they would, you started your own brokerage.
You're like, I've been around.
And I'm like, like he said, because I really wasn't doing all of that branding. It was definitely, I was, following up and doing all the touches, but I wasn't using a CRM. I mean, I had one that I paid for, but it was definitely more of like and I have a great memory. Like people always laugh about that. So I was pretty good about, I guess I must have been writing things. I did not use the CRM. So, but anyway, he came on and then it was, people really started seeing like what we're doing. And then like he said, adding we added, I guess, a buyer's agent that actually, it was funny. I had met her through MOPS at CBC. So moms of preschoolers. And then we ended up adding another agent soon after that had been a client of ours. And then
it's branding's amazing though. It's like,
it's night and day.
I feel like I've been just recently doing it. I've been doing this for 17 years, but to your point, like, people know what you do, but it's just the people that are near you, your circles or whatever. But if you want to grow eventually, and not everybody wants to maybe grow, but if you do want to grow, you do have the brand. That's important. And I feel like I just started like learning that after being in the industry for so long. But a lot of what drives me, I said it before too, is because I have younger kids and kind of, if there's an opportunity for them to take over later or help out later, I got to still keep working and building. And I've never been the type, I don't think you guys either are the type to like settle, right? Get to that point of complacency. I think there's still goals and visions. And I picture you guys, I don't know why I thought of this the other day. I was like having like a reality show. I don't know if you ever thought of that.
Selling San Antonio. Have told that. We've had that kicked around by team members.
I mean, do you see the shows right on Netflix or whatever? My wife, like Selling Sunset or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then they're real glamorized, right? All these reality shows, and I was like, man, I bet you Kristen and Tomás could pull it off. They'd have a really cool, reality show. I'm sure you've thought about it. Maybe
it just wouldn't be that entertaining in my mind because of having a media background. I know I can tell when I watch these shows what's fake and what's not.
That's
to me, it's like true. I don't have time to waste making up fake stuff to put on TV. So if you just keep it real, it's like it's very entertaining, but it's not dramatic. And so that's what works for TV. But you watch some of this stuff, it's just like, come on, we could sell it from how awesome our team is or how amazing of a job we do in the process, but that's not what people want to watch on TV, And so I think just things like this.
I think with client, like things that we see, I think that's where we talk about it a lot. Like a lot of our agents will joke about, you should write a book, of all the different experiences and all the things that you see doing this job.
Or do a podcast. Have you ever thought of doing that? Maybe just doing something where you're just talking to...
we have thought about that.
I think about it, but I'm just like, I'd rather just build businesses, and just...
Well, it's back to that time management, where you want to focus your attention to. And if so you're the D and the disc, so I think 43% of the business owners are nurturers, they say, but it's like building like those relationships and, connecting, whereas you want to build business, you want to results and stuff. So it makes sense, right? Yeah. But it's fun. I've been enjoying doing this more than anything just to kind of learn more about people and kind of their business experience, which is like business in general, like with real estate. I mean, how hard is that to do the business side of it? I mean, because like selling a house is one thing, right? And I know your process is, or tell me about that process when you get a potential client. I mean, obviously you have to hold them by the hand. That's the biggest thing people need in the real estate market. You have listing agents, buyer's agents as well. So you pretty much have the whole gamut. Talk to me about that process. Someone's looking to buy a house or sell it. What do they do?
Yeah, good question. So typically they're going to talk to one of our inside sales agents first. So either Amy or Devontae, and then we're going to get all their information, all their, like if they're selling, all the details about their home, like, okay, how old is your roof? How old is your AC? And about their timeline, when do they want to move? Where are they moving? Really putting all the pieces together. When do they want to meet with us? And then they're actually setting an appointment with one of our agents that's available. They're looking at the calendar. So we've shared calendars and they're getting them connected to that agent. They're also letting the client know about the agent too, letting them know you're going to be meeting with Betsy. She's so awesome. She's been with us 5 years.
I love her.
She's amazing. And then that way they're super excited and because we don't ever want them to feel passed around, obviously.
Sure.
So then that way they get to connect with Betsy. They meet with Betsy. I'm going with the listing example. And then, she goes over everything. She goes to the home with them. She's giving them all the info that they need as far as, what they need to do to prep the home to sell so they can get the most money for it. Or maybe it's a client. Sometimes we have clients that say, we don't want to do that. We just want to sell it more as is. So she's going to guide them, give them different options. Right. And then when they're ready to list, she's going to actually, we have a form that she fills out and then she gets that to our listing manager who then is doing like all of the the back end and the staging, coordinating and photos and all that. And Betsy's still there all along, but it really makes sure that it's smooth and also gives Betsy or whichever agent it is that leverage,
right?
So that way they can still give the clients, they can really do what their specialty is, which is meeting with the clients, keeping them up to date on the market, having those conversations once they're on, like if they need to adjust price or make changes to the house and gets, all the way to closing. And then buyer, our inside sales agent is going to connect them to the right buyer's agent on our team based on what they're looking for. And sometimes clients will say, well, I prefer a female or I prefer, someone that lives near me or whatever. And so, of course, we take that into account. And then she gets out an appointment set with them. And then our buyer's agents will do a consultation, whether the client wants it, in person or Zoom or just phone call. So they can learn. We're very big on learning, like asking a bunch of questions, to our clients.
And I think that's important.
It is because they don't want us to just
like cookie cut everything.
No, and just tell them, and it's like you said, it's all about building that relationship and that trust with them up front, because if we don't, and like you said, if we're just, assuming, because I've heard that before where clients will say, oh, well, this other agent, they're showing me all these homes in areas I don't like or maybe way above my price point. They're not listening to me, so that's why it's important to have that consultation. And then, they're getting their MLS search set up. They're looking for off-market homes. And we're just, I guess that's our goal. We want to go above and beyond everything.
Yeah, it sounds like you've already got your processes and systems laid out. Yeah, we have our processes and
we have great leverage. Again, though, we're always focused on that experience for the client. We don't ever want them to feel like, wow, it's a big team and I'm just lost, you know? So we keep it to where they're typically, you know, talking to, of course, their agent the most. And then, you know, whether it's like the transaction coordinator, like, so another admin as well, or success team, as we like to call them. Yeah. But yes.
But y'all systems literally make people feel like they're not only part of the process, they're being informed, they're being guided, and they're being taken care of.
Yeah, we truly care. And then we have lots of client appreciation events after that. We're reminding them to, you know, don't forget to protest your property taxes. Like, we're really there. We're not just letting it, okay, now you're closed.
Yeah, let's go to the next one. We're done.
Yeah. Right. No, we're staying there with them.
I think that's huge, especially in your industry, and even in, I mean, any industry, is just making sure with your past clients are your biggest referral partners at the end of the day. And they're the ones that are going to, if you kind of stay top of mind doing what you're doing with your client appreciation events, those are the ones that are going to, you know, promote you the most. And I've talked to and known a lot of realtors in my industry, and you guys are by far one of the upper echelons, and I'm very grateful to be a part of y'all's team is helping your clients. But that standard, I think a lot of times people don't realize in the real estate market. I don't know if you experienced this in COVID. Obviously, everyone wanted to be a real estate agent.
Yes.
And everybody could, because you literally could show up to a house and it's like, okay, you want to buy this house? And there was like being sold. Like there was like no work being done or sales.
It was so fast too, right? Yeah, like you said, there wasn't even building relationships. I don't think really happened as much because it was so fast, like you said.
And so I think especially when you go through that season when now it's a little more challenging, right? The market's different, you know.
Right.
Tell me about that. You know, how do you all adapt and change? Obviously, you've got, you know, 17 years of experience already. So very seasoned when it comes to that, which is a big benefit value to your team. But do you ever, I mean, obviously you have to always adapt and change, you know, as to your approach. Does it make it harder, I guess?
Yeah, I think it does make it harder because, you know, definitely since COVID, we talk about this a lot. We've just pivoted. So it feels like you're pivoting and you're adapting constantly.
Right?
You have to. Exactly. Yeah. You either do that or you go out of business. But it is hard, and it can be hard, you know, to keep, because a mindset, you know, keeping your mindset positive is critical, you know, obviously. But as far as what do we do? I mean, we have, for our listing team, we've got a listing meeting every week, which this is our second week in a row, but we're looking at all of our listings and we're brainstorming, you know, like because they're not moving in a day, you know, they're taking a while. So we're looking, okay, what can we do differently? We're like, all of us are coming together. So that's a big thing, is we kind of got away from that. We used to do that a lot. We would say, hey, I'm going to price, you know, what do y'all think about this price for this home? So we've gotten a lot more into like, let's really leverage.
Feedback.
Yeah, give each other feedback, because it's harder to price homes right now.
Right.
Because we're seeing prices just, and not that they're, it's just, I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe, like you were saying, maybe some agents that aren't as seasoned where maybe they're like kind of letting the seller drive the price. So they're just pricing price where you don't know where they got it from. Right. And then you're meeting with owners that are looking at those, you know, and saying, well, that one's priced here. Well, it's not, you know, it's been on 200 days.
Right.
Do you want to do that? You know, and they're like, no, I don't want to go do that. So that's a big thing. And just really to, you know, so I guess going back to really having those like those tougher conversations. And that takes us getting into that right mindset. Like I was just talking to I have a coach with Keller Williams, and we were talking about that yesterday, is, you know, sometimes as an agent, and it's the same with the buyer, but, you know, with the seller, you know, they need to lower the price $20,000, but that's a hard ask.
Yeah.
You know,
that conversation is like, they're like, no, I don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah. So
just put new carpet for $5,000.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's that too. We're asking them, you need to do new carpet and you need to lower.
Yeah.
So it was going back to, okay, you know, they hired us to sell their home. And most people, it's, you know, we've had people that have moved. So their home is sitting and they're just paying. So it's getting into that, going back to, okay, get out of, like you were saying, fear. You know, that fear of what are they going to say? They're going to get mad. They're going to hate me. They're going to tell me I mispriced it. But getting back into that mindset of, okay, no, like they hired me. I'm the expert. I'm the professional. The market changes daily.
Right.
And we tell them that up front. But you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for people to.
We think too, like realtors think they're just here to put a sign in the yard and let the buyers determine if they're interested in the house or not. Right. And so you have to really make sure that you're being honest with your clients. And so for us, that's a big thing. It's like, you know, right now it's really tough because there's some people that have to make a move, whether it's job relocation or just something change in the family. And if they just bought a year or two ago, you're bringing money to the table, and they expect, based on what happened during COVID, that you're going to be able to pull a rabbit out of a hat. And my neighbor sold for, this much, and we need to get that much.
A year and a half ago, that's coming up a lot too. And they're not realizing that.
But we like to talk about like being, as a realtor, you should look at yourself as not a financial advisor, but a real estate advisor.
Sure.
Because we're talking about investing. Even if you don't own investment properties, if you own a primary residence, that's an investment.
Right.
So you need to look at it as, am I being smart with my investment decisions? And a lot of people don't understand that. And so it's our job as real estate agents to share with them what they need to hear and not just what they want to hear, right?
Yeah. And if you kind of talk to them about the realistic expectations on the front end, it'll kind of gives them a good idea, so where they're not disappointed on the back end, like, hey, what are you doing?
Yes. Yeah. And that's what we found that's key. And I think, to your point, a lot of agents really got away from that. Even I think we weren't doing it as much as we, would, that we probably should do. But we didn't need to as much, I guess. But now it definitely
because the market's changed, right?
The market changes.
And you have to learn to adapt.
And it's hard. It sucks not to be able to help everyone, right? And like everyone expects when they reach out to us that we're going to get them exactly what they want, right?
Like one that you have.
Right.
I have the Schramme sign out, so it's going to sell.
Yes. And we do. Yeah. Because we have a client, you reminded me that he's like, well, your marketing, it's the very best. He had worked with another agent, and he's like, y'all are the best. So with your marketing, you're going to sell it. Like we are, but marketing does wonders. I had to tell him, but it's price though. I could spend hundreds and thousands of marketing.
At the end of the day, it's price.
If it's not priced right, I can't. It does nothing.
I always go back to like buying a car, like a used car. It's the easiest way to look at things. It's like you've got this beautiful car, but you're wanting $80,000 for it, and they really are selling online for $30,000. Like, what makes you think you're going to get $80,000? Well, I put it on all these websites, and
maybe I'll get the right buyer from California.
Yes, that I hear that a lot, Richard. Yeah, where are the California buyers? Are they still out there? That's coming up a lot.
Understanding the seller's needs, motivation is huge too. So we have to be smart too to know, like, is this a motivated seller? Do they understand the market? Do we have an opportunity to sell this home? Some people are just seeing just like what they saw in COVID, and they're like, well, we need to cash out now, and they just might not have the equity there. And so it's just being that advisor, being that honest resource for them.
Yeah, because you just reminded me. So sometimes the people we're meeting with, like you said, it doesn't make sense for them to sell. So we're going to be honest with them on that. If they don't have to sell, other ones too, we have seen decided to rent their home. So that's kind of during COVID, of course, really nobody wanted to rent out their home. They just wanted to sell the home. So we are seeing, some clients that are going the rental route as well.
Well, one of the things, speaking of rentals, that y'all do is y'all work with a lot of investment properties or customers, and y'all have a property management company as well, which I think adds. I'm your client, or you're my client, or whatever. But I think it's really cool because y'all have like a big somewhat of an umbrella of businesses that will cater to your customers where there's a need here in regards to buying or selling, or if they're investing and you can manage their property. So tell me about that, and when did y'all start doing that?
Well, I mean, for years, we would refer clients that couldn't sell or had an investment property they wanted managed to other property management companies, whether it was in our Keller Williams office or elsewhere. And they would come back and complain like they're not calling me back or they didn't do a good job. And so Kristen one day just came to me and she's like, we really need to start a property management company. And we knew it, like we know in this space it's smart to do, but it's just another animal that sometimes isn't as fun as selling homes, right? And so we fought about it for a little bit. Like I played devil's advocate, and she just kept saying like, yeah, we need it. And my job is to basically make it happen. So she comes up with an idea. I'm like, cool, like we'll run with it. So we started getting into property management, and, the first 3 years are the roughest. And so we got through that period, and we finally really started seeing strides in that. But it's a great avenue to help our clients that can't sell, say, hey, we can manage it for you. Let's get it rented out.
It's almost like a stopgap too, right? Like, okay, let's rent it out for a year and see where the market.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Which is smart. That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's another value to y'all's business.
And that's just like 2 clients right now where we're talking with right now and just getting them through that process. It just makes more sense right now. You want to move, but you just bought the home, so we need to rent it out. And so that's what we're doing. But through that too, we're avid investors. We love investing in many different things, but real estate is our passion. So when we got married, we decided every year we're going to buy an investment property.
And a car.
And a car.
Oh, gosh. Well,
classic car.
The cars have slowed down, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, I ran out of room.
Yes. I was like, I don't know what year exactly. Yeah, there's no space.
That's actually an interesting, combo. Buy a house and buy a car. I guess, y'all agreed on that somehow.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I'm one behind right now, so we'll have to pick it up. But it's fun. I love cars. But yeah, so being in the investment space, it just doing it personally over the years, you just learn so much, like where we failed and where we succeeded.
Yes,
having your own investment properties.
Which areas tend to be, better as far as appreciation and renting out.
Well, just even the experience of managing your own properties helps, manage your clients' properties as well.
Yeah, because I love that because we're a client of the property management company. So I was just talking to another client of ours last week, and we were talking about, the tenant requests, or the work orders and things. So I do.
Y'all have a separate
like
team,
that.
right, that handles that altogether?
Yeah.
Do you have, what other businesses under this umbrella?
So we have property management. We also have also our investing side, just in our personal rentals, and then helping other investors like find the right properties and helping. That's kind of a separate division. We even do investment seminars that really educate our audience and our past clients about investing in real estate.
You're really good at that. I see y'all promote that a lot, just kind of educating your clients and promoting just that information out there. I think that's super valuable that people don't, take advantage of sometimes or even know it's out there. So that's awesome.
I think that's kind of like our podcast right now, is seminars. Like we started with the
workshops.
We do like buyer and seller workshops, and then that stems into like, okay, buyers also want to build possibly. And so we've got a building workshop. We have the investment side. There's a couple others that I've got in the works right now that are kind of relate and just kind of go along the phases of when I buy a home, what's next? How do I buy more homes? And so, that's kind of like our podcast is the seminars. But it's great to be able to just to educate people, and then they can decide ultimately what their goals are, what they want to do next.
What's your vision for the next 5 years? Are you still continually trying to build the business, kind of add more agents?
Yeah, we know we need more agents, obviously, to keep up with all the leads that we have. So we need more of that, but we're also really focusing on helping our agents build their business within our business. So just like we've built our business through Keller Williams, we really want to help our agents understand that it doesn't have to be just relying off of the team and you can make even more money if you work on building your own business. So we, through our own coaching programs that we have in our company, just really training them and mentoring them on how to truly treat your individual role as an agent as a business, because you're a business owner. You should have an LLC, you should have a business bank account. You've got a CPA. And so really showing them like you can build this out bigger, where at some point they've got too much business and they need to have other agents helping them with that business as well. So
that's awesome.
And then the other project that I've been, trying to get going is home building, like building spec homes.
Really?
Not custom builds for people that want to build a home, but we're
just
out
a
there.
spec, kind of just something that's already.
We know what sells.
It's already completed.
Right.
Yeah, we know what sells. So we know how to design a home for the floor down to the floor plan, the lot, all those different things.
Have you done one already? Or?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we learned a lot through that one. We ended up making money on it, which is awesome.
That's good.
Not as much as we wanted to, but
that's always the case, right? On your first project, is like you're expecting to make this money.
And you think, I remember going into it thinking, we know all of these pitfalls to watch out for, and yet no. Nope.
But then you kind of learn as you do the next one.
Yeah.
And kind of tweak it, and eventually it gets easier and easier. That's cool, man. It's I don't know. You got all this time on your hands evidently to do all this stuff. What do you do to decompress? Do you just take little breaks to Vegas or
I've never been. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I get texts from Tomás at 1 o'clock in the morning. What do I do when I got 2 aces? I don't see it till the next day. It's like, it's too late.
Yeah, I couldn't help you.
Yeah. I mean,
y'all like to travel?
We do. I mean, I love to travel. I think initially he didn't really like to travel that much. Remember, you would say, I don't know why we have to go anywhere. But now you actually do enjoy traveling to Vegas, especially.
I mean, if it's nice and cool, she loves the water.
I love the beach. Yeah.
She loves
Y'all
the
do
beach.
short little trips, or have you done like long 7-10 day?
So we usually in the summer we'll normally do like a 7 to 10 day trip with the kids, and then like one of them, and then we'll do some little, like next week we're going to be going to Canyon Lake for 3 or 4 days with the kids. So and then we try to do like one, just the two of us. Maybe it's going to be
that's important.
3 to 5. One time we did, I think, a week, but normally when it's just us, it's probably like 3 to 4 days, probably something like that. Just because our youngest is 8, so it's a little more challenging still with her, and during school. It's hard because of all of their activities and
no, for sure.
Everything.
It's a busy
and I like
season.
to be. I don't want to miss, I guess, certain things either.
For sure, You like the water too? My wife loves the water.
Yes, I love the water. Yes,
she likes beaches. We used to go to Destin a lot because they have clear water there, and it's like beautiful. Oh yeah, it's awesome. And anywhere there's water, we enjoy going just to hang out, just chill, relax.
Yeah, it's very relaxed. And I've learned even if you're going, I don't know. Let's say it's Austin, I don't know, but just you're not here locally. Sure. It's nice because you can't. Yes, you can still work some, obviously, with our phones, but you can't physically go somewhere. No, it's good just to get away. It's a nice, really, especially if you're struggling with setting those boundaries, it forces you, which is just kind of nice. So
I've kind of realized that she likes to relax, and when we go, I'd rather go places that are more like live, like high energy. I like downtowns, like New Orleans is great.
Do y'all like concerts?
Yeah, we love music.
Yeah, we do.
You ever go to ACL?
Years ago, I did.
We started going. We go like been 6-7 years in a row now, but we'll take our family and go with some other families. That's cool. Just go hang out. Cool. It's different genres of music, right? But we usually go for the weekend and just put the chairs out, hang out, listen to different music, drink a few beers, and just relax. It's fun as you get older. Like when they come out with the artists that are coming out, it's like. I'm just used to the old bands, I know from like 20 years ago, and my kids are all excited with all these new guys that are coming out. But whenever like Red Hot Chili Peppers, some of like more alternative stuff from the 90s.
I saw Coldplay there years ago.
And so I mean, it's still cool just to go listen to. We like to listen just to bands in general and getting out there. We love that. Just kind of music.
I think in high school,
I think that's very fun.
What was it? Was it both of our first concerts?
Was in I think on 6th Street, right? Somewhere on 6th Street.
No, it was South Park Meadows.
Oh, South Park Meadows. You're right. In
Who'd you all see?
Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz. It was a big, but Lenny Kravitz, I think, was the headliner there.
Yeah, Buck Cherry, Lenny Kravitz. Yeah. I don't remember who else. But
those are lively events for sure.
Like Nashville, New Orleans, Las Vegas.
Well, Vegas we go to all the time because we like to go watch. Well, we used to see, of course, all the shows, but then you get tired of the Cirque du Soleil shows. But then we started seeing concerts over there as well, kind of just like be purposeful is why we're going, and then we started going just to go, and it's like. Kind of get tired after a while, but it's fun. It's actually kind of a quick getaway still. If you just go really 2.5 hour flight or whatever, and just go out there for a couple of days, and then I started playing golf there with some friends more, which was really really cool.
I bet that's really fun and beautiful.
Those golf courses over there are like amazing. It's like in the middle of a desert, like these lush green fairways, and it's just cool. But it's just a fun way to get away. That's especially I think it's easier for our kids are a little older now, so they're 17, 20. So we can get away a lot easier now. Yeah. But I mean, it's always a challenge, but I think you need it. You need it, especially if you're always kind of in your business like 24/7. I know you guys are wired the same way. It's like I can't turn off business, even if it's a Saturday or Sunday. It's like
it's tough because it's always coming in. But that's something that we talk to our agents about a lot. Is I'll ask them in their coaching, when is your next, when is your next getaway? Like because it's part of their goals, and that's something that. We kind of learned over the years is really
work-life balance.
Encourage them, really push them to do that because I think otherwise, they get burned out. Or if we don't talk to them about it, we had that in the past where they thought, I guess, that we just wanted them to work every second. Like, no, we don't. We understand that you need that balance. We don't. Well, it's a very important.
What I've kind of circled back into my life is church. You mentioned CBC as well because for me that's a big thing. To kind of keep in that balance of life, right? And just kind of staying grounded. And I think as you get older too, especially, you're more conscious of the spiritual, health of your family and basically kind of getting to that point where you're almost like giving back, right? Because you've worked so hard for so long, and I've always been blessed. We've always been blessed, but there's something about always kind of giving back. Being part of a community. Y'all are great about that as well, because I know y'all have done a lot of give back, and CBC. I just love the church itself and the pastor, but it's a big part of us as well. And I know it helps depending on what ministries you're in or how you're involved, but like as a leader in your industry, I mean it's always good to have that, and then also to give back to other women maybe that are wanting to either get into this industry or other markets that they can look up to. I mean
absolutely,
for me it's important. I mean, I don't know if
that's
y'all
the
are real
only
involved with that or not, but
that is, I mean, every hard, I mean, obviously, I mean, if I didn't have my faith, I wouldn't be here. I mean, just everything that I've been through, all of those, like even when my business started taking off, I remember telling my grandmother, she's like, "You're selling this many homes?" And she was just happy and kind of, but I guess a little surprised. And I remember telling like, I know, I'm just working really hard and I'm praying and God is blessing these efforts. Like, it's not me, it's him. And I was just telling our youngest that the other day, because she's been doing great in softball. And I was reminding her, I said, everything, like you're doing great because of the gifts God's given you. Don't forget that. I think sometimes we can get, we all do it. Like, oh, I'm so great. I'm doing so good. Like, remember where it came from.
For sure.
Stay humble. I think that's that's very important.
And then when you're doing well, what happens? Sometimes you forget that, right?
Yes.
And then the only
you start
time
thinking it's you. Like, oh, I'm so awesome.
That's the hard part. It's like,
it is the hard part.
And distinguishing kind of what the motive or goal is, right? It's like sometimes I challenge myself. It's like, okay, thy will be done. It's like, well, tell me what that is, God. And a lot of times I get reminded, like just the whole, building relationships, connecting people. Like that's definitely a passion that I have, is like helping others. But whenever you have a really good season in life, it almost feels like you get away from God, and it's always when it's hard.
You almost forget, because I'm doing so great.
Everything's good, but whenever the storms come,
the storms come, exactly.
Like, hey, God.
Exactly.
He's like, I've been here.
I'm back. I know. He's never left, but we weren't paying attention.
That's something that I definitely do a good job of, and I don't know when it started. I think just going through my first divorce is just realizing it could always be worse, right? It could always be worse, and so anytime the smallest things happen that are great for us, I'm always talking to God, thanks. It could be something where I needed all the green lights to get to this appointment on time. It's like, dude, I appreciate that. Just the little things like that that really just kind of keep me grounded with my faith, and just making sure that I know, like, it's not just you. It's not just you.
I know it's super important. The little grateful tidbits, like you said, I think is so important. And just every day, I always joke now, again, as you get older, it's like, hey, well, I woke up today, so that's good. So let's let's just kind of just kick some ass today and just do what we've been doing, rinse and repeat the next day. But those are little things, and so I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that you guys spent some time with me today to, kind of talk about your business and your origin story. And I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, my biggest goal with this platform, as I learn to do this better, is just to really promote the people that are sitting across from me. And I know you guys have done a really good job of branding yourselves, number one, as a premier team, real estate team in San Antonio. And I'm just blessed to be a part of it. And when someone asks me if I know any real estate people, I always say I know some guys. So thank you so much for being here, guys.
Thank you, Richard, very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yes.
Our assistant that was with me for a while, she quit because she actually started helping me do the branding and social media and the reels and all that. Then she was like, I really like what I'm doing here. I'm going to go pursue this as a hobby, not hobby, but as a profession. So she left us.
Help other people.
Yeah. So, which is fine. Like, okay, that's her calling. And so, but what it did, it propelled my wife to kind of step into the role and really like just sink her teeth into it, just kind of like take over. And man, she's, really grabbed it.
That's awesome.
By the horns, like they say, and really run with it.
3 boys, she knows how to direct.
No, she's good, man. She's got a lot of great ideas, from a marketing standpoint. And it's been there, but I think when she does the bookkeeping for us and kind of the back end stuff, right, behind the scenes. But it was more of okay, I'll just go in for that, leave, and then now it's like, hey, I have a whole different purpose. Like, I'm going to help, grow this business, manage this business, brand it, and I'm telling you, like, she's like, I'm writing down. She's got all these ideas. You need to do a newsletter. You need to do YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, let's go, keep going. But the biggest thing that I've really been focused and dedicated on doing is to taking the action to do it, right? To making sure we take the steps. Because it's easy to put
the ideas. And that's what I did for a long time with things. Yeah. Like all these little extras, like, oh, client gifts and client events. And then, like you said, you don't do it. And then once you start, though.
It's just then you have to.
Yeah, you got to keep it up. But it's awesome.
No, and the way this started, I'll tell you off air, but it just kind of within days, it just kind of manifested in like, okay, I guess I'm starting a podcast now. So then I just committed to it. And then, you know, I didn't really know, I'm still figuring it out, but like just said, screw it, we're just going to do it and go with it and see what happens. So we'll see where it goes. But thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.